Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. Freshman from the Cornell women's hockey team, Kaitlin Jockims, joins the show today. Kaitlin, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Good, yeah. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, obviously, you've been training, you've been focusing on hockey. Besides all of that stuff, what else have you been up to recently?
Honestly, not much, like working a little bit, but yeah, this kind of weird year due to COVID, I've really been focusing on my training, which has been a cool experience.
Yeah, that's great. And what has your training been like so far? What are you trying to work on for your game for next season?
Yeah, kind of just all around. I kind of had the opportunity to go back to the prep school I went to last year, so I was kind of skating 5 times a week there, which was nice. And then in the weight room too, just overall trying to get better and ready for next season.
Now, when the Ivy League announced that the season was going to be canceled last fall, where were you when you found out that news? And I guess, like, what was your reaction to that whole situation?
I was at school with a couple other my freshman teammates, so it was pretty disappointing. I mean, I think some of the other girls kind of knew it was coming, but I was hopeful at least, so I really wasn't expecting it. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing.
Now, how are you going about preparing for next season? Or how did you go about preparing for next season, knowing you had like a year and a half to do preparing for it?
Yeah, I mean, this extra time is kind of giving me a chance to really focus on little details. So I've been working hard in the weight room and on the ice, just focusing on things that I normally wouldn't have the chance to. Lots of skill work.
Nice. And what challenges have you faced doing so? Because some areas have less ice time and some areas the gyms are closed as well. I know in Ontario that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been lucky. I'm from Saskatchewan, so I went to school in Alberta like last year for my grade 12 year, so I had the chance to head out there to get on the ice more than I could here, but now I'm back here in the summer training with my brother. He plays junior hockey in Manitoba, so that's been pretty good, and it's nice to work out with guys because they push me a lot more. So yeah.
And what does your on ice training look like? Like, were you working on the ice, any skill work, shooting, back
Yeah,
checking,
really.
stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm working on my shot quick release right now, kind of working on like tight space stuff, and yeah, just overall.
Now, what is something you think you need to improve on the most regarding your game, and how have you tried to improve that area of your game so far heading into next season?
Yeah, I think like I want to work on my quickness with the puck and everything, and making sure I can play at a fast pace because obviously college hockey is a lot faster than what I've been used to in the past. So that's kind of why I made the decision to skate with guys this summer because they're obviously a lot faster and will push me to play faster as well.
Now, have you been watching any college hockey this year?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it was kind of hard knowing that I could have been out there playing, but yeah, as much as I could.
And what was your thoughts on Wisconsin winning the national championship and just that whole game? Because it was pretty crazy when I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, a crazy goal to win it. So super exciting for them, and they're always really good. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Now, have you been practicing with the team at all? And what's it been like to play with college hockey players? And have you had to make any adjustments playing with college hockey players on a consistent basis more than you did when you were in high school?
Yeah, I mean, the girls are obviously a lot stronger when I was there in the fall. We didn't get to skate together a whole lot. Like we had like 8 girls on the ice due to rules by the university. But yeah, I mean, I just got to be prepared and work on my strength and quickness for next year so that I can compete with the girls.
Now, what are some of your goals and expectations for next season?
Yeah, I'm really working on trying to get in the lineup next year and play consistently. So I know that means that I have to be consistent in all practices next year and compete for everything. Like nothing is given at the next level. So yeah, I'm just getting prepared for that.
Now, talk a little bit about your freshman class and how have you guys tried to get to know each other during this unusual time?
Yeah, I mean, it was really weird and kind of hard to get to know each other at the start, but I think we really bonded with that experience of not having a normal year. And like, I mean, obviously the team couldn't get together as much as usual. So we are really close from that, I think. So, I mean, I'm really excited to go back with everyone next year.
Now, obviously, Cornell just released its conference schedule. Have you had the chance to look at it, and which arena are you excited to play in the most for next season?
Yeah, I have, and I'm excited to play in Lina. Obviously, the home rink, and then all the other schools too. But yeah, I'm excited for that first home game.
Yeah, I am too. It's going to be very
hmm
exciting.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with Cornell. So, you grew up in
Mhm.
Canada. Talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I played minor hockey all the way through. I played on Saskatoon Stars here. And then in my grade 12 year, I went to the Edge School in Calgary, Alberta. But yeah, I mean, hockey's kind of just something that everyone tries at least once here. And all my brothers played too. So yeah, I mean, I've loved it since the first time I started.
And did you have a favorite player growing up?
Yeah, Sidney Crosby probably kind of the classic, but yeah.
Yeah, and he obviously scored that game-winning goal in the Olympics 10 years ago.
hmm
What was your thoughts on that since he was your favorite player and obviously
I
won
mean,
for the country?
yeah. Sorry. I mean, pretty cool. Like anyone who could have scored it, but super exciting, especially it being in Canada too. So that was super cool.
That's awesome. Now, before Cornell, you just talked about this a little bit. You play for the Saskatoon Stars. How did you get the opportunity to play with that organization?
Yeah, I mean it's the hometown AAA team here, so I tried out when I was in grade 9, and they were always like really good program and known for being good. So yeah, it was pretty awesome when I made the team when I was in grade 9, and I loved every year there.
And what's your favorite memory you've ever had with that team?
Um, Probably in my second year, I think we went to the SO Cup in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, and we finished second, but it was still a really cool experience. I mean, being one of the best teams in the country. So yeah, that was pretty cool and something I'll always remember.
Now, what's Nova Scotia like? Because I've never been there before, but all the pictures I've seen, it looks like a beautiful place.
Oh, it's so beautiful. That's also what made the trip so special, I think, is kind of getting to experience that part of it too. So yeah.
Did you get to do anything cool when you were down there, or really it was just hockey?
Mostly hockey, but I mean, there's lots like it's just pretty to be by the ocean and stuff. So our team did like lots of walks and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy the area when you're down there at least, even though it's
hmm
a business trip at the end of the
Yeah,
Now, one thing I
definitely.
found interesting when doing research on yourself was you got to play with your current teammate, Ashley Messier, with Saskatoon. What was she like as a
Mhm.
teammate, and how excited are you to be her teammate again in college?
I was so excited. Ashley's awesome. I loved playing with her all through stars. She's such a good leader and player. Like, I'm really excited because she works so hard. So being around people like that, I know is going to push me to be better every day. So yeah, no, it's awesome. So glad we're together again.
Yeah, definitely. And you were saying before how you went to the Edge School in your grade 12 year. What made you want to make the transition and go to that school, and how did that school help prepare you for college hockey with Cornell?
Yeah, so I kind of have a weird birth date. So I'm a 2001, but I'm like a grade behind, if that makes sense. So, and I wasn't like with my age, I wasn't allowed to play on the Stars again. So I had to go to like the prep leagues they allow for overagers. So yeah, but it was the best decision for me, like to play in that league because there's lots of good players in that league too. And then like going to prep school is a different experience, but I loved it because you have the opportunity to get into the weight room there, and like hockey is kind of part of your school day, which I thought was really cool and kind of similar to university. So yeah, no, I'm glad, like definitely worked out for the best and really helped me prepare.
Now, talk a little bit about your recruitment process and what made you want to go to Cornell, because I know going to an Ivy League school is a little bit different because there's not that letter of intention that most players have to sign.
Yeah, no, I mean, Cornell, as soon as I visited, I kind of knew I wanted to go there. I mean, like as soon as I went on my visit, I noticed the team culture and like the expectations for success of the program. And I knew if I went there, it was going to be challenged. But I think that putting myself in that type of environment can only benefit me and push me to be better in every aspect. And then also something that really drew me towards Cornell was like the academics. So a chance to be pushed academically as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was obvious choice to me, I guess.
Yeah, and speaking of academics, how has academics been like so far at Cornell, at least when you were enrolled in the school for last semester?
Yeah, no, it was good, but definitely challenging. And I'm glad I had that semester where I kind of got my feet under me and kind of know what to expect for next year. So when hockey's in the mix too, I think I'll be more prepared now.
And how did you try to balance academics and hockey at such a high level? Obviously, you weren't playing any games, but it's still such a challenge for some players to do that, especially as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took too hard of classes my first semester, but yeah, you kind of just have to be really good at time management and know that you have to get your work done by certain times so you're prepared for practice and obviously next year for games. So yeah.
Now, what was online school like for yourself? Because from my experience, I kind of liked it and I kind of hated it just because there was a lot of pros and cons to it. How was online school for yourself? Do you like it more than in-person learning, or what's your whole thoughts on that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I liked it more because I don't know, I liked being at home, but definitely university, I found it super difficult. And I mean, personally, I spent a lot of time in my room, which I didn't like. I didn't like experience like having my lectures and stuff in my room. So I found that really difficult to focus and stuff. But yeah, so I'm excited for in-person learning next semester.
Definitely, definitely. I agree with you on that. The
Hmm.
thing that I found the most challenging was how you couldn't get that interaction with your professor. Like whenever I
Yeah.
had a question, I had to email the professor, and it might take them like a few days to respond, which is kind of frustrating, especially if I want to know a question like soon. And I think when you're in person classes, you can get answer any questions you might have in a pretty like pretty easily. So that was like the one thing I've noticed. And then I also hated the Zoom breakout rooms as well. That was
Hmm.
pretty. I don't know if you had to deal with those, but those sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I dislike both those things you just mentioned. And I miss like the social interaction of going to class too and meeting new people. But yeah.
Yeah, it must have been different for you because you're in your dorm room all the time. I didn't even go to campus. I was just at my house. So I feel like
Yeah.
that must be tough just because you're in a small dorm room all day. How do you try to like not go crazy?
Yeah, I don't know. It was tough, I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of realized that like halfway through the semester I needed to start like walking to like a library or something if I could to go do a class, do some studying, because or else I ended up just literally being in my room all day, which is not good for anyone.
Hmm. Now, what's the campus like at Cornell? I've never been there before, but I've seen pictures. It looks pretty cool. What has your experience been like so far, just walking around the campus and seeing what's there?
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I loved it there, like so cool. And like you literally are walking to class and there's like waterfalls and yeah, no, it's awesome.
Now, you also get to play under Coach DeRoe. What have you learned under him so far? And just talk about what he's like as a coach.
Yeah, no, he's a really good coach. I mean, I've only had a small experience with him so far, but I really appreciate like his knowledge for the game. And again, like he has high expectations for the program and all the players. And I think it holds everyone really accountable and makes he makes it clear to everyone like the standard that we have at Cornell. And yeah, no, I'm really excited to have him as a coach for the next 4 years.
Now, something that was introduced to college hockey in this past year was 3-on-3 overtime. As an offensive player like yourself, how do you plan to adjust to more space on the ice and having more offensive opportunities in those overtime situations?
Yeah, I mean, I like the 3-on-3, so I'm really excited. I think it's a good opportunity. Like, I love the more space on the ice, so I'm excited.
Now, for all the Cornell fans that are listening to this podcast and have never seen you play, describe your game to them and what can the fans expect from you?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself like a strong forward. I'm 5'10", so a little bit taller than most people, and I think I use my shot a lot as much as I can. And yeah, just look to score the puck and create scoring opportunities for my teammates all the time.
Now, what's going to be your number for next year and what made you want to choose that number? I'm curious.
I'm number 20 for next year, and if I'm being honest, I didn't have that many options. So I'm usually number 6, but 20 was just one of the numbers I like the best out of my options. But yeah.
Nice, nice. Kristen O'Neill used to wear that number,
Hmm.
so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, big shoes to fill.
Definitely, definitely. But we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just about yourself and some of your teammates. So my
Mhm.
first question to you is, what's your favorite class at school so far, or that you've ever taken, I
Um,
guess?
um, I mean, I only took 4 classes last semester, so I think my favorite one was probably calculus, just because I've always kind of enjoyed math, and I was taking a chem and bio class too with that, so those are pretty hard. So
Yeah.
definitely calc, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm not a math guy myself. It's a
Yeah.
pretty tough subject for me. It's just
Hmm.
so hard. I don't know how you guys do it. It make it look so easy. I can't do math. I'm
Yeah.
so bad at it. I just know the
It's,
simple addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. That's all I need to know. I'm pretty bad at all
yeah.
the complex
Hmm.
math like calculus.
Yeah. Yeah, no, calculus is pretty tough.
Now, how do you deal with chemistry? Because I took that junior year of high school, and it was one of the toughest classes I've ever had to take. It took so much studying just to pass some of these tests. How do you deal with it?
Yeah, no, I definitely had a real eye opener for university chem with the gen chem class I took. But yeah, you just have to study so much and make sure that you ask questions when you don't understand and something. So yeah, no, that was a very hard class.
Did you get to do any cool labs? I know it was probably online, but anything you got to tool, any cool labs or cool things you got to study?
Yeah, I had my lab was in person actually. That was like my only in-person class. But yeah, we did like some cool stuff. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, what's your favorite music? What music do you like to listen to on a general basis or just before a game?
For a game, I like hip hop rap music. It's always kind of been something that's got me hyped up for the games. So yeah, but any music that everyone kind of is into, I also like when everyone sings along. So yeah.
That's awesome. Any go-to artists for hip hop, like Drake or someone like that?
Yeah, I like Drake and like 21 Savage and yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
Mhm.
what's your favorite TV show and which character from that TV show do you think would be the best hockey player?
It's a good question. My favorite show is probably The Office. And I'm gonna say the best hockey player would probably be Jim from The Office.
I would say Michael Scott just
You
because,
think?
yeah, because he made that check on Toby, so he's definitely a grinder. So I think
Yeah,
as
that's
well as a
true.
third, fourth liner on any team, in my opinion,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
definitely. But Jim would be good too because he's a Bruins fan,
Yeah.
so I have to
Yeah.
back him on that.
Hmm.
Now, speaking of the Bruins, have you been watching any NHL playoffs and just what's your whole thoughts on the Cup playoffs? Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think won't win? Just your whole thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a little bit, but I'm rooting for the Leafs actually. I hope they're gonna pull it out this year.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's my team this year.
Definitely. Hopefully they can get past the first round. That seems like it's been a struggle
Yeah,
in the past
I
few.
know. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and hopefully John Tavares is okay. I saw the injury
Yeah,
last night. It looked pretty
I
bad.
know,
Have you heard
crazy.
anything
Yeah.
about it?
No, I just have seen like bits of it on Twitter that it seems like he's okay, but yeah.
Hmm. Pretty bad, pretty bad. So all
Hmm.
my best wishes are to him and his family. Now,
Yeah.
making switching gears a little bit, let's talk about some of your teammates. Who's the funniest teammate you have at Cornell?
Um, Probably in my freshman class, I'd say Lily.
Hmm.
I know you say, yeah, she's pretty funny and love to be around her.
Now, you obviously have the best style on the team, but besides yourself, who has the best style at Cornell women?
um, I'm gonna have to say Ashley, I
Hmm.
think, or Claudia you. They're
Hmm.
both pretty, got good style on the ice.
Now, who has the cleanest locker room or locker on the team, in your opinion?
Um, I mean, I wish I was around all of my teammates at the start, so I can't really say for the whole team, but I'm gonna have to go back to the freshmen and probably say Gabby Rudd. But yeah,
Now, what is your favorite food?
my favorite food, um, my favorite healthy food, I'm gonna say is fruit, but my favorite healthy food is probably pizza.
Nice, nice. Pizza's
Hmm.
good. I agree
Yeah.
with you on that. Fruit's
Hmm.
obviously good too. I always have
Yeah.
banana for breakfast, so I feel the
Yeah.
same way with
Love
you.
bananas.
Now, final non-hockey question for you is: if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
I have to think about this one. Um, if I could have lunch with anyone, it would be Kobe Bryant,
Hmm.
just because I've always looked up to him as a player and admired his work ethic and compete.
That's a good answer. For myself, I would
Hmm.
probably choose a hockey player, which is a pretty
Hmm.
basic answer for me. But
Yeah.
like someone like Austin Matthews, just because he's such a good
Yeah.
scorer. But I feel like it would be a fun conversation because, in my opinion, I think he has the best style in the NHL. That dude knows how
Hmm.
to dress.
Yeah. True.
Now, back to some hockey questions. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting doing research on your team was you guys are essentially going to have two new freshman classes coming into the team. What's it going to be like for yourself having such a big class coming onto the team next season, and how are you going to like try to adjust to that?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of girls, and obviously, like, some of our freshman class kind of took a leave this semester, so lots of new faces coming in. So there's some big shoes to fill on the team, and I think we have to be ready to take a more important role, which we normally wouldn't have to. So yeah, just really preparing. Like, it's obviously not going to be easy. We didn't play this year, so we're kind of a little bit behind everyone. So yeah, making sure we're all working hard this summer and ready for next year.
Now, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion, especially since you've been involved with it for most of your life?
Yeah, I think just, I mean, social media has been huge in kind of the last few months with promoting women's hockey. And like, I think just continuing to do that and getting the word around to everyone about how awesome women's hockey is.
Now, what were your thoughts on the World Championships being canceled at Nova Scotia and then getting rescheduled in August? Just what were your thoughts on that situation and what was your reaction to that news?
I mean, really disappointing. Obviously, like, so brutal for the girls who were there. And yeah, just overall really disappointing. So, but I'm glad they rescheduled it and I'm excited to watch.
Now, what advice would you give a young player who is trying to make a D1 team?
Just to make sure you're always working hard and competing, and yeah, just to never give up. Like, I mean, anything's possible when you put the work in.
Now, do you have a message for any of the Cornell fans that are listening to this podcast? Like anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, just I'm excited for next year and excited to experience line a rink with all the fans in it.
Awesome. Well, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates, family members, friends? I know I mentioned some players throughout this interview, but if there's anyone I forgot to mention, feel free to shout them out right now.
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Caitlin. It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. It means a lot. I hope you have
Hmm.
a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a great off season, and I can't wait to see you and your team play next season. I think you're going to do an amazing job.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Now, one